السلام عليكم. لا تنسوا الإعجاب بالفيديو والاشتراك في القناة تشجيعا لنا لنستمر بنشر المزيد إن شاء الله.
Okay, so that's a nice segue into Morocco, who ended up winning their group. They beat Argentina 2-1. That was the most controversial game I think I'll ever see in the history of the sport, where it was like a 2-hour VAR call. They ended up getting them back on the field, call the goal back. It was 2-2. Argentina had scored late to give everybody some context. And then Morocco ended up getting that in their favor, played the last 3 minutes, about, 90 minutes later, and so on and so forth. They win that one 2-1. And that really put them on their path to be top of the group. Now, you can see they shared goal difference. I think it went to the fourth tiebreaker for them to actually be the top team.
Head-to-head.
Oh, it went head-to-head. That's correct. And then Morocco. So I guess from this perspective, do you think the U.S. are better suited to play against Morocco or Argentina? Did we dodge a serious obstacle here by not having to play Argentina in the next round?
I'm not too sure. Both teams are really good. Both teams are teams that are worthy of being in the next round, and Morocco had a very good group stage. Had it not been for that last-minute goal they conceded against Ukraine, they would have gone through this group unbeaten. Yes, Argentina, man for man, has great quality. I don't know how convincing they are. Crazy enough, I don't know if Mascherano knew that one more goal put Argentina through to the next round as the first place finisher. It seemed like they realized a little bit too late, which was kind of crazy, really. But Morocco is not to be underestimated whatsoever. They were really strong. They got the job done, and they were rightful winners against Argentina. And today, I mean, they picked Iraq apart. They were very good, and they have shown that in certain areas of the field, they have some of the best collective play at this tournament. And we can get further into the details of where the matchups might be a little bit, where there might be a mismatch on the field on Friday, but they're not to be underestimated whatsoever. And not only that, the U.S. are going into a serious away game. The stadium, I'm not sure where it is on Friday, but wherever it is going to be in France, it's going to be a packed stadium in Parc des Princes in Paris. Moroccans, it's like it's as if the game was going to be in Casablanca.
That's a great point. And definitely Morocco is not a team to be looked past or thought negatively of, or you're happy to see, because they're extremely good. But when I look at the Argentine team, you go from the first game against Morocco, where they seem to lack connections. They seem to not have the same group pressing together near as well. Morocco played through. They're a very good team, but this Argentina team seems to just be gaining momentum.
This Argentina U23 team is much less convincing than the full national team. And although there are bright spots, for example, Giuliano Simeone, Cholo Simeone's son, who ran like a horse the whole game. He was really good. But it feels like at this point in time, Morocco's got a little bit more figured out than Argentina. And I go back to on paper, I think the U.S. wants to avoid Argentina, but in reality, if I had to choose who's playing better football at their moment, I would give the slight edge to Morocco.
Okay, that's not great for us. So let's talk about Morocco. We know they have Achraf Hakimi, Nico, but are there any other players that we should be prepared for, especially as a fan that might start watching the U.S. team here just now in the knockout rounds, or unfamiliar with the Moroccan team?
I'd like to point a group of players out, and this is going to concern probably Griffin-Yao, because I think Marko Mitrovic is going to go with the same team against Morocco. Would you guys agree? It looked so good in the first half that perhaps the area of concern is going to be with Griffin-Yao and Tolkien. Because on that right-hand side for Morocco, there's a combination of three players. Achraf Hakimi, we know how good he is. But we also have El Khanous, who is the attacking midfielder, let's say, but he gets drawn into the play on that right-hand side. And Ilyas Ahomash, who is a Spanish-born Moroccan player who went through La Masia, who's lighting it up this tournament. He is so skillful, quick, dynamic, has these sharp bursts of quality, of creativeness with heel flicks. And the combination on that side is where the U.S. is going to have to be very careful and either Dietz or Tessman slide over to help that out, because between Yao, Tolkien, they're going to have their hands full. Then on the other side, you have Abdeez, who also played for Barcelona for a little while and is at Betis now. Who is a very speedy winger. Today he scored. If you guys haven't seen it, go check it out. It was a golazo. Cuts inside on his right foot and just banged one behind the goalkeeper. Had, knuckleballed it behind the goalkeeper. He's good.
Was that the third one?
That was the third one. That was a 3-0. Yeah. And then you have the goal scorer of the tournament, Rahimi, who's one of the overage players who, to the European eye, might not have a stellar career. But after he left domestic football in Morocco or Raja Casablanca, he went over to Al Alain, and he's a Champions League winner. Not only that, in the 13 games that he played to get to the championship where they took down Al Hilal, the Neymar team, the stacked Al Hilal team, he scored 13 goals in 13 matches. He's on fire right now. So they also have a striker. And last but not least, there's a kid called Amir Richardson on this team. Amir Richardson. Doesn't sound like a Moroccan name, probably because it's not. His dad is American, played in the NBA. His mother is French-Moroccan. He was born in Nice, and he's in the heart of this midfield team. So there's a couple of standouts on this Moroccan team that I would just be wary about if I'm a U.S. fan.
Okay, so does this give you any pause, Brian McBride? Because Nico just listed about 5 or 6 guys that are making me a bit nervous.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's things to be aware of. And I'm going to go back to like the first segment, Jimmy, when you started talking about some of the things that are positives, and knowing that we can play in a couple of different ways and be comfortable against really good teams. I think that's going to be something that needs to, or 3 days. So you can make adjustments. When Nico, when you talk about the right-hand side, Georgie, we talked about it earlier. Georgie likes to come to the left-hand side, so it may not be as big of a worry. Certainly, you got to be aware, especially with Hakimi and his ability to get up and down that right-hand side. So possession's probably going to be a big part of this, understanding their pressure, because a Moroccan team is usually very, very compact and together. You said that they've been playing really well. So yeah, I mean, this is all part of being in the knockout rounds. It's the positives of you're here, but it's the negatives. You're going against a really good team. So right. I'm looking forward to it either way.
Yeah, it's going to be great. So let's get into score predictions. And really, Nico, we just want to hear from you, since you're so well versed in the Moroccan team and obviously know everything that's going on with the U.S. as well. How do you think this game's going to play out?
Ooh. So I just need to give the disclaimer that, I don't know if Brian knows, I went viral in Morocco during the World Cup. I called one of their goals a goal that put them into their game when they beat Portugal to get into the semifinal. And I overnight went viral in Morocco.
Is this your way of saying you have an emotional tether?
Yeah. I mean, this is let's go viral in the U.S.
But I also have a stronger emotional tether to the U.S. I want the U.S. to win. Don't get me wrong, Moroccan fans that might be watching this, because I did send out the YouTube link to all of my Moroccan followers. I really want the U.S. to win, and I think it's going to be a very hard-fought match. Let's call it 1-1, and the U.S. wins in pens.
Wow.
Okay.
I like that.
Heart. I like it.
I like that. Do you think that's now McBrizzle, you usually go with your heart over your head on predictions. Are you feeling the same way? I would love that. I would take 1-1 and us in pens.
I did the last time I went with my heart over head, but I've gone against US in certain matches. But not this one. I'm saying US wins this 2-0. And that's
2-0 because goals for Morocco?
No, because we're going to get a goal early, and then we're going to absorb pressure. We're going to get a goal late. That's going to be it.
From your lips to the soccer god's ears, I hope that's what happens. But this Morocco team, is going to be excellent. Also, very quickly, Nico.
Well, Jimmy, you didn't give yours.
What's that? Say it again.
You didn't give your prediction.
Well, that's what I do. I straddle the fence here on Call It What You Want. I ask the hard questions and never answer them myself. But yeah, ultimately, I see Morocco scoring. I probably lean closer to what Nico said as opposed to what you said, McBrizzle. I could see a 1-1, potentially even a 2-2. I think we have the firepower to get a couple goals. I could see us also giving up a couple goals. And then hopefully we can do the business in extra time and or penalties.